Merry Christmas everyone, welcome back to Rock Paper Shotgun. Liam here, and I am already regretting this specific outfit. I've made my bed, it's time to sleep. The cat is just on an adventure around me. We're just gonna have to roll with it. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. As 2022 draws to a close, it's time once again to bring you our list of the 10 best PC games from the year that was. 2022 was a bit of a funny old year, really, with multiple AAA titles pushed back into 2023. There was a distinct lack of huge games to play this year, especially on PC. However, we here at RPS balk at the idea that a lack of AAA games means that this was a quieter year. If anyone on twitter.com tells you otherwise, I mean, that's fine, that's their opinion, they're allowed to have that, all power to them, but we think there was tons of really cool stuff to play this year, despite the fact that Starfield got delayed. Agree to disagree, I guess. Merry Christmas. Our 10 picks highlight the best and brightest that PC gaming had to offer in 2022. So grab yourself a lovely steaming mug of hot chocolate, pop the fire on, light up the Christmas tree, and get ready for our top 10 games of 2022. Enjoy. We'd argue detective games were perfected with the release of Lucas Pope's Return of the Obra Dinn all the way back in 2018, but colour grey games as The Case of the Golden Idol certainly gives it a run for its money. Right, for starters, don't let the game's slightly cursed art style put you off. Although Golden Idol is packed full of gurning caricatures, they are but one part of the game's warped tone that gives it a distinct flavour. Each of the game's 12 cases present you with a crime scene frozen in time. Something horrible has occurred here, and it's up to you to poke around people's pockets and listen to their inner monologues to try and figure out what the hell happened. Your sleuthing rewards you with clues in the form of words, which can be strung together to form an airtight theory. If you're a murder mystery fan, especially one looking for another detective fix of the same caliber as Obra Dinn, make sure to check this one out. Set within an alternate near-future version of Louisiana, Norco is a point-and-click adventure that goes places. Kay returns to the town of Norco following the passing of her mum, only to realise her brother has also gone missing and no one has any clue as to where he might be found. What follows is a brilliantly written, frequently surreal tale that will linger in the mind long after you walk away. It helps that Norco's expressive pixel art breathes an additional layer of intimacy and beauty into an already heartfelt game. Aim for the heavens. Neon White is a game all about speed, or rather a game about speed running. Sure, your ultimate goal as you sprint through this gleaming version of heaven that appears to have been rendered on a Sega Dreamcast is to get to each level's exit as quickly as possible. However, the true magic of Neon White lies not in your first attempt, but in your third, fifth, and 10th. You see, each level also requires you to dispatch a set number of demonic entities that are sort of just vibing by aqueducts and next to big plants. You kill them using cards which double up as both firearms and movement abilities. The Elevate card, for instance, can either be fired like a handgun or destroyed in order to grant you a second jump. It's here, in these tiny little choices, where Neon White truly shines. What if, instead of killing those demons with your sniper rifle card, you used its secondary boost ability to zip around an obstacle, allowing you to shave half a second off your previous best runtime? Neon White facilitates mastery in a way that feels accessible and encouraging, making it one of this year's most compelling experiences. Ghostwire Tokyo wasn't quite the follow-up to The Evil Within that many of us were expecting from developer Tango Gameworks. Instead, this is a fairly chill open-world affair that lets you loose in the deserted, haunted streets of modern-day Tokyo. What you actually do in those streets is fairly by the numbers. You collect ghosts, fight demons with a range of flashy spells, and complete side quests for spectral Tanuki. These activities may be a touch repetitive, but with an open world as impeccably realised as this, a long to-do list is just the excuse you need to explore every rain-soaked rooftop and neon-lit alleyway. The vibes, as the kids say these days, are impeccable. Ghostwire Tokyo won't be for everyone, then, but stick with it and you may just discover the coziest horror game ever created. Considering the disarming cuteness of its protagonist, Tunic is a surprisingly devious little game. Behind every tree, bridge and waterfall hides a secret just waiting to be uncovered organically through exploration and player experimentation. Even entire systems imperative to your success are never taught, but simply hide in plain sight until you put the pieces together yourself during your adventure. Thankfully, you're not entirely left to your own devices. Scattered around the world are pages to the game's manual. Each sheet is gorgeously illustrated, and although the majority of its text is written in an incomprehensible language, you're always able to infer what you need to do next from its various maps, button prompts, and item descriptions. Its combat is maybe a touch too difficult, and its obfuscated mysteries may prove too tedious for some, but for those who stick with it, Tunic is one of the most rewarding experiences we've ever played. I love games about work. Euro Truck Simulator 2, House Flipper, Destiny 2. There's something very satisfying about performing otherwise mundane repetitive tasks within a simulated world where consequences are limited and activities can be completed at your own pace. Hardspace Shipbreaker is a game about work. Hard work, satisfying work, but also fantastical work that is completed among the stars. Shipbreaking isn't easy. Derelict starships must be stripped down, their individual components carefully processed to maximize profits. Panels must be sliced, brackets removed, chairs and computer terminals yanked out of their sockets. But there's a problem. Spaceships, it turns out, are deadly. Fuel lines must be flushed, lest a stray laser beam cause a catastrophic explosion that transforms your cloned body into a charred skewer of processed meat. Generators must be carefully guided into your recycling barge, the thrum of radiation a reminder of your potentially imminent eradication. And yet, Shipbreaker is one of the most relaxing games released in 2022. Once you understand the consequences of absent-mindedness, slicing ships becomes second nature. Before long, you'll be chaining together panels and throwing them into your furnace without a second thought, humming along to the game's Neo-Americana soundtrack like a pro. Shipbreaker is a rare treat. Cats. Cats are great. Take it from me, a childless 30-year-old cat owner who unironically refers to their pet as the baby. Perfectly normal behaviour. Now I'm sure this has nothing to do with Stray appearing so high up on this list. Not at all. The real reason is that cat platformer Stray is a charming indie that stole our hearts. You play as a curious ginger cat who, after falling down a storm drain and into a mysterious hidden city, must find a way out in order to be reunited with their companions. You're aided on your quest by a sentient drone that lives in your backpack, as well as numerous robots that spend their days within the underground city, mimicking human behaviour for reasons they can no longer recall. Featuring a compelling mystery, a stunning city to explore, and probably the cutest protagonist of the year, sorry, Fox from Tunic, Stray is an absolute delight. For all its grand sci-fi imagery, Citizen Sleeper is ultimately a story about connection. As a digital consciousness in an android body, you take refuge from a megacorp determined to hunt you down within Erland's Eye, a rundown space station on the fringes of civilization. Survival is your top priority here, using a limited number of daily dice rolls to complete odd jobs and earn money. But it's the relationships you'll form with the denizens of this dilapidated city that will define your time with Citizen Sleeper. These are fully realised people, struggling under familiar circumstances despite the futuristic set dressing. The story you choose for yourself will intertwine with these characters, resulting in one of multiple endings that are all equally as satisfying as each other. Anyone who played Citizen Sleeper this year is sure to agree. This is a truly special game that will warm your heart and feed your soul. A few of you aren't going to be happy that this is number 2, are you? Still, bear with us here, because although Elden Ring has just missed our top spot, that doesn't mean that we aren't absolutely smitten with From Software's latest. Elden Ring is a phenomenal achievement. Its open world is stuffed to the brim with hidden caves, secret temples, and countless awful creatures desperate to chew on your inside bits. There is so little filler here that it's baffling that such a game can even exist. Speak to someone else who's embarked on an adventure through the lands between, and the chances are the direction your journeys have taken will be completely different. Perhaps you, an experienced Souls player, headed straight to Godric's castle the second you entered Limgrave, but maybe your friend headed east instead and spent 10 hours battering horrible dogs in Caelid. Perhaps they found a cursed cat statue in a cave, or a cool sword being protected by a monstrously large bear. This is to say nothing of the game's combat, which is as challenging as you'd expect from a game developed by From Software. Battles are tense and terrifying, a single hit standing between failure and victory at all times. And yet, thanks to the game's abundant open world, a Souls game has arguably never been more accessible than it is here. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is still a very difficult game, but your ability to nope out of a situation and just find something else instead should keep even the most timid of players from quitting due to, being splattered by a big rat boy for the 50th time in a row. Elden Ring is impossibly rich, strikingly beautiful, and more vicious than a rusty screw panini. We absolutely love it, but not as much as we loved our next game. Choosing a game to occupy the #1 spot this year was quite a difficult decision, but at the end of the day, few games wriggled their way into our brains quite like Vampire Survivors. The pitch for Vampire Survivors is simple. You have to stay alive for 30 minutes while the game throws ever-increasing amounts of monsters at you from all angles. Your character attacks automatically, leaving you to focus on navigating an ever-increasing ocean of things that want to kill you, collecting gems and leveling up your abilities. Survive for 30 minutes and the Grim Reaper will swoop in, turning you into mincemeat and forcing you to start a new run. Vampire Survivors is a roguelite that makes dying fun. Condensed within those 30 minutes is the power curve of a 100-hour RPG. You start each run fragile and weak, yet end as a godlike figure capable of melting an entire continent's worth of skeletons by taking a single step. This is a power fantasy by way of a fast food chain. The results are quick, satisfying, and incredibly addictive. But wait, there's more. Vampire Survivors also includes multiple unlockable characters, hidden secrets, weird and wonderful ability combinations, and an absolutely banging soundtrack. There are hours upon hours of screen-filling, CPU-straining, gem-collecting fun to be found here, all for the price of a cup of coffee. Vampire Survivors is a masterclass in engaging power fantasies, a generous and satisfying roguelike that we've spent way too many hours noodling away at throughout the course of 2022. It's also served, sort of, as the unofficial packing game for the Steam Deck, a title that feels so at home on Valve's handheld system that it has remained the most played game on the hardware since launch. A brilliant, exciting thing, and the rightful winner of our Game of the Year. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. This is our last video of 2022, so I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you so much to everyone who watched this year. This was my first year here at RPS. I've had an absolute blast, and your comments and kind words have made it a fantastic year for me. So yeah, big thanks from old Liam. I'd love to know what your favourite games of 2022 were, so please do let me know in the comments below. I will read them all over Christmas. I'll ignore my family as we're all tucking into a turkey. I'll be there being like, oh, yeah, good picks. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and we'll see you in 2023. Bye for now.